Welcome, YouTube friends and family, to today's edition of the Wellness Homesteader. So this is actually winterizing your homestead, house, apartment, condo, part 2. So I've been concentrating on doing a lot of things inside the home as I'm kind of to a holding pattern on the outside, waiting for the garden to finish, etc. So this morning, it is 37 degrees at 8:18 in the morning. And we are under a frost advisory for the day. Now we're still going to have highs around the 70-degree mark. I am in kind of southwest Ohio, hardiness zone 6A. But I've had the suspicion, as the Farmer's Almanac has predicted, that we are going to have an early, cold, and snowy winter. So I've really tried to focus this year on getting everything I possibly can ready. So I'm going to tell you ahead of time, this will be filmed out of sequence. Some of the things that I filmed yesterday you will see later in the video. And you may be wondering why I'm showing some of the things that I'm showing. And I just wanted to share something with you. So stay tuned. I'm sitting in the middle of my kitchen now that I don't have the island and it feels huge, because I'm getting ready to do a little task that I want to share with you. So some of the things I share, you may be like, yeah, who doesn't know that? Sure. but let me share something with you. I have been a single person for 26 years. This year, 2 of my friends lost their spouse, partner, significant other, whatever you want to call it. And so they are faced with an upcoming, harder than normal winter. On their own, perhaps for the first time in 30, 40 years. And some of these skills may not be things that they were responsible for. They may have seen it done, but they may not have done it themselves. Or if you're in that situation, you might not have a clue where to start. So I'm trying to show you some little things that will help keep your homestead, home place safe this winter, and keep you as warm and comfortable as possible without spending a ton of money. So some of the things that I'm going to be showing you, you're going to be like, yeah, no, I'm not putting bubble wrap on my windows. You get cold enough, you might. So that is the purpose behind what I'm doing. So one of the things that I have that's kind of unique in my house are ceiling fans. I have ceiling fans in every single room of the house, including the kitchen, all the bedrooms. The only place that doesn't have a ceiling fan is the dining room, and we're going to be dealing with the dining room later on in this video, because my dining room has 5 windows, big windows, and really impacts because a lot of the winter wind hits from that into the house, so it impacts the temperature in my house. But back to the ceiling fans. So most ceiling fans have a reverse switch, and that reverse switch will turn your fan blades the opposite direction. So instead of cooling you, it will help push the warm air down. So I'm going to show you, in case you've never noticed this little switch, it's not really obtrusive, if you will. I'm going to show you where it is, how to flip it. Because we are still going to have some temperatures in the 70s, I'm not ready to flip mine, but y'all, ceiling fans are like cat hair collectors in this house. I have already cleaned the great room, and I'm like, oh my word, I'm so glad I didn't film it because it was disgusting. So I try to clean my ceiling fans twice a year very, very well. I obviously need to do it a little bit more because I do use my ceiling fans quite a bit. Now, the one in the kitchen, when I moved, I was like, who puts a ceiling fan in the kitchen? But let me tell y'all, when I'm canning and it's 800 degrees in here, I have been so grateful for the ceiling fans. So what do you clean it with? Well, I always tell you, follow your manufacturer's directions, but let me show you a product that I'm using, and I'll explain to you why I'm using it. Stay tuned. Now, I will leave a link in the description box below, and I've shared this many times, y'all. The purpose of my channel is not to get you to buy things. It does help support me and my channel when you need something and you choose to buy it. This, y'all, is a product I've never really talked about until recent, and that is Young Living essential oils. And I want to tell you, I have tried a huge variety of brands of essential oil. Everything from doTERRA down to the dollar store. Just saying. There is no comparison. And if you have never used essential oils before, I highly, highly recommend that you try Young Living first, because once you try it, you'll never be satisfied with anything less. So this is called Thieves Cleaner. So y'all have seen, I like Penn Allen, I like Mrs. Myers, but y'all, they're full of things that maybe you don't want to use, right, in your house. And having a pet as well, I've been a little bit concerned. Also because I have systemic lupus and I seem to have flare-ups from artificial chemicals, additives, preservatives, etc. This has been a real lifesaver for me because it cleans everything. So let me tell you what essential oils are in here. There's clove bud oil, lemon peel oil, cinnamon bark oil, rosemary leaf oil, and eucalyptus leaf oil. And you just put one capful, this is a 14.4 ounce bottle, into your cleaning bottle, and this is about 8 ounces of water. This will last a very, very long time. And I'm going to actually be doing an upcoming video when my order comes in of some other Thieves products that you may be interested in. Now, I'm going to just give you full disclosure. So you can go out on the internet and you can say what oils, essential oils are in Thieves. And you're going to find out what oils are in there. I just read them to you, right? So I tried making it with store purchased essential oils. Okay, A, it smelled bad. Probably did something wrong. B, it is nothing like using the Thieves cleaner. So highly recommend. Enough said about that. Then whenever I clean my ceiling fan, I like to use the microfiber cleaning cloths on the like terry cloth-ish side, because dust is going to go everywhere and I'll have to vacuum as I did. Frankie was under the ceiling fan. He's like, hey, mama, it's raining cat hair. So at any rate, I'm going to show you real quickly how I'm going to clean it, and also how to switch that switch so that you can be ready for these cold winter months. Stay tuned. Okay, y'all, this is kind of a weird angle. Maybe it'll make me look thinner. I like to start with a wet cloth, hopefully not knocking my head off here. And you want to get the edges of the blade. Hang on and you'll see me in a second. Oh, y'all, this is even worse than the great room was, probably because cooking items get on it, oils and such that get in the ear. So you just want to clean all of the edges and then across the entire blade. And y'all, it's not been that long since I've cleaned this one. I'm a little ashamed to show you I'm a dirty girl. So you would think that the switch would be on the area where the pull chain is. Mine is actually hooked to a switch, but it's actually opposite. And you know what? Let me hold the camera and I'll show you how to switch it over. All right, y'all, see this little switch? Just push it up and it reverses the ceiling fan, and we are now ready to push down our warm air because it rises, rather than to circulate the air just so that we're cooler. One of the next tasks that I like to do prior to winter is to prepare my oil lamps. So I use these not only if we have a power outage and I don't want to use the generator to light up the house, but also they put off warmth and just sort of a cozy feeling. Now, if you have small children or pets, please be careful. You know, one of these knocked over can start a fire in your home. Frankie has never ever bothered any of these. He knows what the word hot means, so I've never had a problem using them. However, y'all, I'm showing y'all my dirty secrets. Can you see how filthy this is? I mean, guys, it's pretty dirty. So, before I start using them in the fall, and then again, after I've completed using them, I will give them a good clean. So, you can use just dish soap and hot water. I am actually going to spray these. You know, I found some Sprayway at the DG. And just get all the soot off. A clean globe will burn, of course, brighter. Hello, that makes sense, right? And then I am going to work on trimming the wick. I'm going to show you how I do that and give you just some basics about, you know, filling your lamp. Now that I am going to do outside, but I'm just going to tell you about it and not show you because it's super simple. So that looks way better. And I'll just give this a dust. And this lamp I actually purchased from Facebook Marketplace. It is a vintage lamp. And you'll notice that it has a lot of staining and the oil looks discolored. That is because when I purchased it, it had not been used in many years. It had an old wick and it had old oil, which had turned. Don't even know what type of oil. So I cleaned it very, very well. However, I could not get all of the staining that's on the glass. It was like a deposit. So I've continued to have problems with it being a little bit discolored, but it does not affect the function. You only want to be using approved lamp oil. And this one, well, let me show you this one. This was my Grandma Victoria's. It's one of my treasures. And then this, I received for a wedding gift in 1981. So that's kind of becoming antique as well. So that makes it how old? Like 40 years old. Wow. So this one does not get used a lot. This one I keep upstairs on the dresser in case of emergency, in case my generator doesn't kick in. So just give these all good dust. And then let me just show you really quickly how you adjust the wick. So, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, but you want to turn it right, which will raise the wick. Now this one has obviously been lit. It's got a little bit of burn. So since we're new into the season, I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to trim this wick off onto the paper towel. Tip down the camera here. And you want good sharp scissors and you want to trim the wick straight across to get all the soot off, and then the wick will burn better and brighter if you cut the two corners off. So I didn't exactly make a point, but as you see, it's got curved edges there. So I'm going to continue doing that. Now, what if you're doing this and you're like, oh no, my wick is to the end? You can buy on Amazon, you can buy from Lehman's, you can buy replacement wick. The important thing to know is what is the width of the wick. So I do have 2 rolls of replacement wick. I have replaced this one, but I may replace it again just so I can show you. So let's first trim off the soot. And like I said, these are pretty sturdy. Don't want that on my countertop. And then I'm going to trim the corners. Like that. Now, let's say you want to replace the wick entirely. So what you would do, grab this one's hard to clean, is you would just keep rolling the wick until it is completely out of the oil. So let's just go ahead and replace this one. And also, y'all, don't dispose of this inside your garage, or you want to dispose of it outdoors because it is fully saturated with a very flammable liquid. All right, so here we have our wick, our used wick. And I'm gonna put a pretty good length down in there. So you just wanna measure so that it curls around. I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna trim the corners. And then the flat end, you just simply want to reverse what you did. So there's teeth inside. And this can sometimes be a little challenge to get started. So let's go ahead and unscrew the collar. And I wonder if I can feed it this way a little easier. So you have to get it in far enough so that the teeth actually grab the wick. And that's going to be a bit of a challenge. So let's go this way. Okay, fumble fingers here. Let me get this started and I'll bring you right back. So this is a non-standard wick size. Of course I would choose the one that's non-standard. So let's go ahead and we'll just feed this existing wick. I'll have to order the little bit narrower. So you're just going to feed it in through the collar and turn. And you can see that it's now grabbed the wick. And I just need to trim this one like I did the others. When you're ready to top off your lamps, I have a dedicated funnel. That's all I use it for is lamp oil. You don't want to cross-contaminate and start using it for food. I'm going to use the Clean Heat lamp oil. And what I will do is simply put my funnel in and fill it up. And then all my lamps will be ready for winter. Another thing checked off the list. Let's talk about insulating your windows for winter. So I started to do the first window and I thought, you know, maybe I should just turn on the camera and capture this. So throughout this video, you may see me in different clothes. My hair may be up, my hair may be down. I may have on makeup, I may not, right? So behind me is the window that sits between my kitchen and my great room. And if you're a longtime viewer, you know I used to have a stained glass piece sitting here, which I've moved into the dining room. Okay, that thing's been all over the house, just saying. And I just ordered new blinds, and I thought before I go through all of the headache, because I got much, much thicker and heavier blinds. They're faux wood. The blinds that I put up 22 years ago were sad. Really, really sad. And they came from Big Lots. So you may notice over here a little bit of yellow. And I'm going to tell you, that is tape residue. It is not pretty. I cannot remove it. It is not sticky. I can't scrape it off. I could probably use like an acetone and it would probably come off, or maybe even WD-40. But since I am going to reseal the window, I decided, no, you know what? I'm just going to put, oh, the little squirrel buddy just ran by. See him? Right there over my shoulder. He's looking for some good stuff. He better not be after my spinach I just planted. So on this side, you see that there is like a logo. So let me show you here. The kit that I am using is the Duck Tape brand window kit. And I will link all of the products I talk about below if you want to, check them out. So it does have directions here, but also inside. How many times can I get up in one video? Okay, here we go. It has a little bit more detailed. And it says, do not apply double-sided tape when the temperature of the window frame is below 50. Well, it's not below 50. You know, the house is nearly 70 and it is only in the 40s outside, but it's fine. It does say that you can heat up the tape with the hair dryer to help it adhere better. So we might be doing that. So you want your windows very clean and dry. Now, you may notice that my windows are not pristine. I did wash my window. Guys, I need all new windows. I need new doors. I need so many things. And it just takes time of saving up. And I'm probably going to have to do it, like do the downstairs first and the upstairs second or something like that. But I'm here to tell you, these windows, from the day I've moved in here, and the house was less than 2 years old when I moved in, have leaked like a sieve. So I am definitely going to put the window kit here. I thought about doing the bubble wrap, but Frankie loves to look out this window, and I don't want to take his view away from him. So I am going to try it on this window. And in the winter, I spend a lot of time in the kitchen and great room, and then quite a bit of time in the craft room, which is the warmest room of the house. I think it's like the first exit out of the upstairs ductwork from the furnace, because it's like right over the furnace, number one. Number two, it gets all the western sun. So these areas are probably the most critical for me. It's super simple, y'all. The hardest part, let me say this, is getting the film on, because I have very large, I'm going to try not to dump you guys off here. I have large windows, and they're 54 inches, something like that. So nearly 5 feet, you know, so that's a lot of surface to cover. So all you do is, let me find the start of this. So this is double sticky tape, is all it is, okay? So you want to stick it down, but not take off the top covering. Once I get it all the way around the window, and y'all, if you can see, I put it underneath the part that you raise and lower, and that's what I did last time, because even though the window is locked up here, it leaks there too. It leaks everywhere. So I think I will put it under the ledge, but your other option would be to put it above the ledge, the handle that you raise and lower the window with, this thing. Then, oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Hang on a minute. My apologies, y'all. I didn't think you wanted to hear Frankie yak up a hairball. Bless his heart. He's putting on his winter coat, and so he's shedding a lot of his summer coat. Okay, that's enough about that. So what you want to do, it comes with this film, and it's enough to do 10 windows that are 3 feet by 5 feet in the kit I bought. So the film is pretty thin, and it is the material that when you apply heat with a hairdryer, it will shrink wrap it and pull it taut. So it doesn't look awful to look out the window. It's not like looking through bubble wrap or anything. However, it's kind of tough to get it on there like nice and straight. You want to make sure you cut it an inch wider than the window and at least an inch longer. My windows are just under 35 inches wide, or my opening, I should say. So this, I believe, is 36 inches. Hold on. Well, I think it is. I think I read that somewhere. It's okay. So I will lay it out. I'm going to roll it all the way up, like kind of like you're applying wallpaper. You know how you fold it in half with sticky sides together and then work it down. And then you want to shrink wrap it by putting heat on. So I'm going to finish applying the tape. I'm going to cut my plastic to size. I'm going to get it started. And I may speed myself up. I want to show y'all what it's like to put this on. It is a much easier job with 2 people. But you know, y'all, I don't have 2 people, so I have to by myself. So fingers crossed that it comes out good. Praying that it does. But I know that it will make a big difference in the insulation factor. Stay tuned. All right, I have cut my plastic to length. I will tell you the width is too wide. Wherever I read 36 inches, I was wrong. So I'm gonna have a lot of extra hanging over, but I'm simply going to trim it off with scissors once I get everything smooth. So first thing I'm going to do is I am going to pull off all of the double-sided tape and start trying to get this smoothed out and onto the window. No, that was super simple. Here's a couple tips for you. It's been a long time since I've done this. I haven't done this the last couple of years. For me, it was much easier to place the top in one side because you have a tendency to get it skewed, and it was coming out so that I couldn't pull it completely over on this side. The other option would be I could have had excess on both sides. I don't know why I didn't think of that, but I was trying to get it as straight as I can. Now you may notice my window latch isn't completely latched. It's locked. That's as tight as it latches. Problems with an old house. Now what you want to do, and I'm going to spare your ears, I'm going to show you what the hairdryer will do so you can see. You can still see out, but you've got a lot, I've got a lot of wrinkles in it. So let me apply the heat. And I think I will speed myself up again. Now I have a little bit extra on the bottom, and I also have a little extra on the right side. I'm just gonna double check here, make sure it's down tight. All right, let's get to shrink wrapping. So, very tight. You're not gonna get it 100% smooth, but I am very pleased with how it's sealed. So why would you put plastic on your windows? Well, it keeps that cold air. It makes another barrier for it to go through. So in the winter, I can literally stand here and my hair blows beautifully in the wind. So I'm going to trim off just the little bit of extra that's along this one side and down here on the windowsill. And yeah, I am going to save, even though that piece was smaller, I am going to save it because you can still put the tape all the way around, turn the plastic the other way, you know, it's like this wide, and do stripes. You know, pick a window that you don't look out of a lot because I know that's going to show. I think once you heat it, it will stick together. Not totally sure of that. And you could put tape, you know, if you wanted to do that. But I plan to use a lot of bubble wrap upstairs because I don't look out the upstairs windows and I don't really care how it looks. So on to the next winterizing project. On to our next task for winterizing the inside of the home. And that is to take care of my gas fireplace with no glass doors. So I am not guaranteeing in any way that this is something that you should do. I've done it for many years. Observe your manufacturer's recommendations. When in doubt, contact a professional. But the fact of the matter is, because I have no glass doors, and perhaps even if I did, over the summertime when I'm not using my gas fireplace, a lot of dust and dirt will settle in there. So you have pet hair, I know it's gross, and dander and dust, and it can just get really, really dirty. So if you do have a gas fireplace and you've noticed the first time you turn it on, it has to sort of burn off that funky smell, and it isn't a gas smell. Y'all, if you smell natural gas, you need to shut it off, shut off your gas, and call the gas company immediately because you may have a leak in your fireplace and you need a professional to handle it. So some gas fireplaces like mine have a key like this. And behind the planter here is a little silver dial, and it has a square in the middle. And so you put it put the key in and turn it to turn on the gas. One thing you want to make sure is that the gas is off. Your pilot light isn't lit when you get ready to do this little chore. I personally have done this not only for myself, but for my parents for years. And it's just, to me, basic maintenance. I don't think there's anything that I'm concerned about. But again, always consult the manufacturer's instructions and a professional if you need them. So, kind of embarrassed to tell you all this. So you may notice that I have perhaps the ugliest set of logs that exist. And I have a feeling that I don't have these in here right. So one of the first things you want to do, and I just left it to be quite honest with you, is you want to take a picture of your logs as they are. Because I am telling you, it's like playing Jenga to get them back together in the right way. I also could probably use a new set of logs. And mine actually snap together with screws. So on the floor here, I just have some old towels laid out, and I am not going to take a picture because I'm 99.99% sure that I do not, in fact, have these together correctly. So I'm just going to lay them out, and then let me adjust. I'm already filthy. Let me adjust the camera, and I want to show you the reality of what can happen in your gas fireplace. Oh, so I can do this without falling over throughout the winter time. I'm hoping this will show up. So let me just grab here. Nice, huh? So while I clean on the regular, you know, maybe don't think so much about cleaning out the fireplace, but I always service it before I use it. And there's a lot of cat hair, and even the screen has a lot of dust. So because there's no soot for me to worry about, I'm going to use just my regular Dyson vacuum cleaner. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sweep every surface. So the top, don't forget the top, and you can see my hands are already dirty. The sides, all three sides, and then carefully all around the unit and the doors and the grate, because guys, there is even, I don't know if that fell out of the fireplace, but yeah, it's pretty disgusting. So that's step number one. I'm going to do that real quick. I'll bring you back when it's clean, and then I'm going to give you some tips about how to keep your logs, not how to keep them clean, how to get them clean. All right, stay tuned a moment. Y'all don't tell anybody how dirty my fireplace was. Oh my word. And I will wet dust this as well. But yeah, see, even the vent. Ugh. So here is a suggestion for you. You can take a paintbrush, an old paintbrush, and I'm getting dust everywhere that I just swept up. And, you know, really get into the cracks and crevices. My base unit does not move. It is, I'm going to tell you, hard set in there, and it can be a little challenging. I see another glop or two to get the little dust bunnies out that are back in the back. Not only does the inside of your fireplace get very dirty, so do your logs. Now, if your manufacturer permits it, you can clean those with a little Dawn dish soap and water. Cat hair. And Frankie's literally in my chair sound asleep, like, I don't hear the sweeper, Mama. He's such a sweet boy. So let me just show you a couple parts of your, let's see if I can zoom you in. So I'm by no means an expert, but the gas comes out here. When you strike it, it strikes these two pieces, and then the gas flames will come out the bottom, up here, and through the middle as well. So those are the areas that you really want to focus on to make sure they're clean. That's why I like to brush them really, really well. Now fireplaces will actually have like a rock in the bottom that's removable. If your manufacturer's instructions permit, those can be washed with a mild dish soap and water, allowed to dry and put back in. But mine is looking pretty clean. So I'm going to do the same thing with my logs, but I am going to brush and sweep at the same time because they are really dusty and icky looking. And then I'm going to try to figure out how on earth this really goes back together. And if it doesn't go back together the proper way, well, at least I gave it a shot. You know, it still works. I know that the square has to be open for the flame to come through, so that's what's really important. So I'm going to get to sweeping my logs, and then we'll talk about lighting for the first time in the season. Stay tuned. So I think this is the semblance of how it's supposed to go together. And again, my logs really probably need to be replaced. They would certainly be a lot prettier than what I have. However, let's work with what we have. So if you are frustrated by your gas fireplace, getting it lit for the first time, what happens, when you turn it off, is it can take a long time to bleed the air out of the line, which is a safety feature, before it's going to let the gas into the house. So my particular model, you push in, and then I'm just going to have to sit and let it bleed out until I hear the gas. Not yet. So if it's the first time in the season, it may take you a few tries before you can actually get your fireplace lit. If you simply cannot get it lit, sometimes there is a buildup on a part that requires a professional to fix it. It's brushed with a wired brush. You can find videos about it on YouTube, but I am not suggesting that you do that. So nothing. So I'm gonna sit and hold this for a while. When I get it lit, I'll bring you back. Stay tuned. And there we have it. As soon as I clicked off, I heard the gas come out. So you do want to check it on low, on medium, on high. Just make sure that everything seems to be in working order. And now you're ready for cold winter weather. I hope this portion was helpful for you. We spoke in an earlier video about making sure you change your furnace filter. So I've done that. I had my furnace and AC serviced in August because I had a problem. But the biggest frustration, because I always talk to the repair people, what's your biggest frustration? And they said people who wait until it's freezing cold outside before they check their heat. So let's go ahead and do that, even though it's pretty warm in here. All right. So I do have an automatic thermostat. I have a train unit. So it tells you what the system is doing. It's idle right now, but it is on heat. You can see here. And let's go ahead and turn it up to 70. And we'll listen for the heat to kick on. And we'll make sure that it's blowing warm air and that the temperature actually goes up. If it does not, if it doesn't kick on, if there's a problem, I'm going to know that fairly quickly, and I'll be able to call a repairman while we're still having highs here in Ohio of around 70 degrees. It's now another day. I've been filming this over many days as I've been working on my winterizing projects. And I've realized, guys, I know this video has gotten long. So I'm going to show you products. I'm going to link it in the description box below rather than continue on making this such a long video. If you have a digital thermometer, this can really help you in determining where your air leaks are, where cold air is getting in. Now, of course, this morning, it's not very cold. So when I point the digital thermometer at the outlet, it is only 65.2 degrees because cold air is leaking in. So I found these really cool foam insulating items on Amazon. So this actually has different punch outs. You can punch out, let me just punch one out and show you. You can punch out for actual outlets or an outlet switch combination. So as you see, there's a little switch right here. And these are super simple, just to put up, re-screw on your cover plate. So these are only like $12 and there's 50 of them. So I am going to do the whole perimeter of my house to help keep that cold air out. Another item, which I will link below, foam insulation tape is what this is called, but you can put this around your doors and thresholds where you are getting air leaks. This really does work and helps a lot. And then the final item I wanted to show you is the More Tight. So this is a weather stripping and caulking cord. Wait for it. I guess I didn't open it. I thought I had. And I'll also link this. So let me just try to get a piece of it started to show you here. Ugh, it's kind of gummy. But that's exactly what it is. It is like a putty, and getting it started sometimes is a little bit of a challenge because it got kind of smashed. But you simply peel off the cord and you can put it in your cracks between like the window frame and the wall. So you obviously you don't want to put it places where you're going to be opening and shutting like a window or a door. I don't open windows in the winter as a general rule, unless I have a cooking smoke event. So that is another great thing you can use. Very economical, and it does not damage your paint, your wood, etc. So I hope these suggestions have been super helpful for you. Coming up, I will have my Homestead Management Binder update. And even if you're not homesteading or not interested in homesteading, there are still certain things that we like to keep track of for our home place, whether it's an apartment, a condo, a house, whatsoever. So stay tuned for that. If you've made it this far, first of all, thank you. Welcome if you're new. I hope you will stay around. Hit that subscribe button. If you've enjoyed today's video, go ahead and smash that like button. And until I see you next week on Tuesday, be healthy, be well, be blessed, take care.